Okay, welcome to the call. Tonight's call is going to be on creating raving customers, raving fan customers, and I am pumped about just what we're going to share, and then we're going to take some time at the end, and we're going to share some best practices. But I thought that if we're going to talk about, let me say one thing. If you would, everyone, please mute yourself, and that will work out best. All right, so what I thought about, if I'm going to try to convince you guys to really dig in and take your customer service to a 5-star customer care, I thought maybe you guys may need a little bit of statistics to help you realize the value, of giving 5-star customer care. So some of these statistics came from corporate, some of them are my own personal experiences, and then some are just industry-wide. So let's jump in and let's start talking about statistics in relationship to customer care. First and foremost, statistically, and I know a lot of you have heard this, 10% of our customers will become our distributors in the Juice Plus world. So when I read that, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, let's just say you're a qualified business. So if you're a qualified business, you probably have about 30 customers. That means within your customer base, you probably have 3 people who, if you cultivated that relationship and had those conversations, could become distributors. So I'm telling you, pulling from your customer base is the easiest way to build distributors. And so that to me is probably the #1 reason why I would want to do customer care from a selfish standpoint. The second thing is, this is my own personal experience. I thought about one of my customers who was probably within the first 10 customers that I brought on board back 18 years ago. And it's 4 in their family. They're a trio. They each do a trio. And I went and calculated the commissions over 18 years, $16,478 off of one family. You guys, if that doesn't motivate us to really do good customer care, I'm not sure what would. And you know what it is? This is someone a dear friend of mine who I used to live near when I lived in Marietta, and I go to lunch with her a couple times a year. I do that whether or not she was a customer or not. I love her. So I'm just sitting there, and that just ships. If they get backed up, she lets me know, but I think maybe once or twice I've ever had to back up their order. So I'm telling you guys, customer care is priceless when it comes to building our income base. Okay, that third point there, between 43 and 50% of my customers are referrals from my current customers. You guys, that is the easiest way to get a customer, because most of my customers are my friends, and I'm thinking that is 10 times easier to make a phone call or go to lunch with a friend and get a referral than it is to go out and start brand new. Anybody agree with me? All right, so and every time through the years when I've sat down and counted and went through my customer base, those are the numbers. That's the percentage. So the better our customer care, the higher referrals we're going to get. All right, that third point, this is an industry statistic. A 5% increase in customer retention can produce 25% more profit. Let me say that again. A 5% increase in customer retention is going to bring 25% more to your bottom line. So easy to do, and yet what a great way to boost our income. Attracting a new customer is 6 to 7 times more expensive than retaining a current one. Now, okay, someone needs to put their mute on. Whoever is unmuted. Sorry, you guys. Thank you. Okay, and then lastly, 52% of customers say they have made an additional purchase from a company after a positive customer experience. So stop and think about that for a minute. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but when you do your wellness events, how quickly you can get a new distributor to fast track their HLP, their 2000 plus, simply because we now have the omega, or getting them on a trio just versus the fruit and the vegetable. And so 52% of customers will say if they've got a good customer experience, they have no problem with additional purchases. And I literally, when I take time and do my customer care, I try to do about 15 calls a week. I can guarantee you, I make sure that I talk about the vineyard if they're not on the trio, or the quad if they're not on the omegas yet. And just simply offering that option and sending a follow-up video on the omegas or on the vineyard blend, I'm telling you what, that statistic I think is pretty accurate. So if you're not, I hope these statistics will just validate the fact that customer care is huge if we want to build our business. All right, so let's jump in and let's talk about what does it take to create raving fans out of our customers. And if I think about this, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go and look in the dictionary and see what does it really mean, the definition of rave or raving fan. To talk wildly, to talk or to write with extravagant enthusiasm, an extravagantly enthusiastic appraisal or review of something. Who wouldn't love it if you overheard your customer raving about their Juice Plus experience? I mean, that to me gets me fired up, because what I know is if a third party is bragging and enthusiastic about Juice Plus and their Juice Plus experience, and then they say, hey, my friend so-and-so wants you to give them a call. I told them about Juice Plus. If you've ever had that happen, you know that it doesn't take any time to turn that person into a customer. Whereas if it's all me talking, it takes a lot longer, a lot more interactions than if someone's already done the legwork for you. And so when we think about raving, let's think about, am I giving 5-star customer care to the point that I have my customers are enthusiastically giving a review of Juice Plus or my customer care? So think about what it means to create raving fans, and we're going to take a little survey. And here's what I want to share with you guys. On these once a month calls, what I want to challenge us to do is really take inventory with where we are on that particular skill, and really take an honest look and say, how can I get better? I love Eric Ward when he talks about becoming professional network marketers. Let's become professional at every skill that has to do with our business. And so if we're going to become professionals, we got to take inventory of where we are. So what I want you guys to do is get a pencil and paper out. You know I'm going to have you write something. So hopefully if you got one in front of you. And literally, I want you to rate yourself. So on a star from 1 to 5, what would you give yourself if you were your customer? All right, here we go. Do you have some form, program, or app that can track your prospects and customers? How are you going to know what they value, what their health issues are, what their kids' names are, when they signed up as a customer so you have an anniversary date for them, what their story is, what they struggle with? How are you going to capture those important items if you don't have some kind of form, program, notebook, app? You've heard me say it a million times that systems are a dime a dozen. But if you want to be successful, you better have one and you better use it. So give yourself a star, 1 being not doing so good, 5 being I'm doing good on this. How are you doing on having a program or some type of system that helps you track and collect data on your customers. Number two, do you systematically connect with your customers? You know, every week we get that customer alerts page. That is, to me, invaluable, because what that does is it triggers me to connect with my customers, whether I give them a call, whether I text them, email them, meet them for lunch. And honestly, I think varying your connection with them makes it even better, because then it's not the same old thing coming at them, but calling them up and say, hey, how about going to lunch with me? Or, hey, you know, sending them a video. Whatever it is, somehow you've got to have a system to connect with those customers. All right, give yourself a star. How many stars? We're going to grade ourselves, so make sure you're grading yourself as you go. All right, do you connect with your customers before orders go out? Or at least make sure that they are all set up on the customer portal. And even if they are, in my opinion, that's not a reason not to continue to do customer care. You know, I had a customer that was referred to me and I didn't know him. And so I called and talked to her and she said, yeah, I'd love to set up my customer portal. But don't you think I'm going to keep on reaching out to her, send her emails, sending her text messages, giving her a call? And here's why. If you have 250 friends on Facebook, which my guess is everyone on this call probably does, that means you have at least 600 people in your life that you could easily tap into and connect with. So if I've just gotten a new customer, a new friend, a new prospect, a new contact, I've just tapped in to 600 more people. So why wouldn't I want to connect with those people? You know, and when their orders are going out, that just gives you a reason to check in with them. And even better to check in with them when their order isn't going out, or if they're using the customer portal. So how are you doing with that? It's the quickest way to lose a customer for them to get an order and they're not ready for it. That's a source of irritation. So give yourself a score. And then lastly, do you utilize the tools available to maximize your customer experience? We have, I want to say up in Indy, you guys have done like a customer appreciation dinner or lunch. We have incredible, you know, I love those research videos to send to our customers to validate and to solidify our Juice Plus product. Just simply giving them a call, taking them to lunch out of the blue, sending them some complete, sending them a gift card, or somehow acknowledging that they have an anniversary. I did that last week. I was texting a customer. She's ready for more Juice Plus. I'm like, oh shoot, this person's not on the Vineyard or the Omegas yet. So I send her a couple videos and I talk to her. She's beautiful, beautiful. And I don't know her that well. Her daughter used to cheer with my oldest daughter. So we connected through that. And she came to an event that I had and became a customer. And so I'm telling her, I was saying something to her about how well she had aged. I've known her for about 12 years now. And I referred it to Juice Plus and that we have this anti-aging research coming down the pike. I can't wait to send it to her. And then I talked about the Vineyard and the Omega, taking it one step up in regard to the skin. And so anyway, so I'm having this conversation with her. And then I hang up the phone and then I look down and realize 3 days prior, she had been a customer for 10 years. And so what I did was immediately text her back and tell her thank you and happy anniversary. And I'm telling you guys, to see her response back to me, it made me realize again how easy it is to do customer care and how far it goes. All right, so count up your stars, divide by 4, and tell me what is your average rating. How'd you do? How close are you to being a 5-star customer care distributor? If it's not a 5, let's talk about how do we take that up to the next level. And I hope you guys did. I worked on this, this little checkup. So do me right and make sure you give yourself a grade. All right, here we go. I love acoustics. So rave, if we're thinking about raving fans, RAVE. Remember, align, value, and engage. Remember, align, value, and engage. Remember their why. I can't tell you how many customers I've been able to save because I remembered what their health issues were. Now, I didn't have it in my head. I went to my notebook. I pulled my form that I use. It's antiquated, but I love it. And I remember on many occasions going back when someone said, I don't think I need Juice Plus. I don't know that I've noticed anything. And when I've gone back to their form and started listing their health issues and asking how they were, they're gone. And then saying, do you think Juice Plus maybe had something to do with that? And then them laugh and saying, oh my gosh, keep it coming. Or maybe like myself, peace of mind. That's why I got on Juice Plus. I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I was terrified thinking, I don't know if I'm feeding these kids everything they need. I asked my pediatrician, I'll just give them whatever they'll eat. Honest to God, that was the response. And so when I got a hold of Juice Plus, it brought a huge relief to me. Or maybe you got a customer who's just very proactive. Know what their issue, what they value. And remember their why. Why did they start taking it? Because I guarantee you at some point in the journey, you're going to need to refer back to it and re-solidify. And that brings me to the next point is align yourself with them. I mean, have you ever talked to someone who agreed with you, who was in line, just basically nodding their head, agreeing, saying, you're exactly right. I think what you're saying, I really believe that. There is something about when someone aligns themselves with you, you think they're quite smart, first and foremost, but it brings you together. And one of the ways you can align yourself with your customers is praise their progress. You know what? If you call them and they're ready for their next order, praise them. I always text them or say, you get an A+, man. I wish I had 100 customers like you. You are on track. It's time for it to ship out and you're ready for it. Praise what you want. Know their story. If I know their story, I'm thinking of this one customer of mine. His story is he's a marathon runner. And so I know when I connect with him, and he also juices. He's one of my best customers. It took me 7 years to get him. I literally talked to him about getting on Juice Plus for 7 years. But he's been my customer now for the last 10. But I know his story. I ask him what his time is. I ask him what what last marathon he just ran. I ask him what he's juicing, and he is on track every 4 months for his Juice Plus. But it gives me a chance to align myself with him. And he's asking me what kind of juice or what are you juicing, Elaine? What are you taking? So then the last thing, the customer's always right. When there's going to come a time where there's going to be an issue with a lot of customers for whatever reason. But I'm here to tell you when we mess up or even when we don't, take the lion's share of the blame and agree with them. If they're irritated about someone, get in their shoes and agree with them. And I'm telling you, what happens is then they come on board and they realize you're on their side. And what you're doing is just strengthening that relationship. And you're trying to understand what they're dealing with or what the frustration is and how you can make things right. I've actually had people call me to quit. And by the end of practicing this, customer's always right, turning them into a distributor. And so if we handle those rough patches well, it actually will strengthen the relationship. All right, so remember their why, align yourself with them, value their loyalty. You know what? I never get off the phone, a text message, an email, or seeing them in person without thanking them for being my customer. Thank you. Thank you for being my customer for 5 years, or how many years has it been? The other day I was talking to someone who'd been a customer probably about 12 years, and I said, you know what? I never really heard your story of why you chose to continue taking Juice Plus. What has it done for you? And I remember my customer laughing, saying, good gosh, I don't remember, but at this stage in the game, I'm too afraid to get off of it for fear of what would happen to me. And we had a good laugh, but just kind of knowing their story and really going deep with them and valuing them is huge. Celebrate their special days, knowing when their anniversary date is for their Juice Plus, knowing when their kid's birthday is, knowing when their kid goes off to school or goes to kindergarten. Celebrate those days and send them text messages. Value them. I'm telling you what, when you see how much a customer over the years, how much commission is earned off of them, that is the least that we should do for them. And then lastly, call, text, write, email them, send them articles, let them know that you value them. You value their loyalty. I mean, there is so many different products out there they could choose to take, but they choose to buy, and most of the time they're choosing to buy from you. And so what kind of customer service, what kind of relationship do you have with them? And lastly, E, engage in conversations. You know what? Unless, I text, I email, I'm like everyone else, but I also make sure about every third connection is an actual phone call. Whether or not I get a hold of them, I don't care. They're heard my voice, and in my voice, I'm letting them know I care about them. And you know what? This gives you an opportunity to invite them to join you in this mission. If I know 10%, I looked up, I think last month I had 70 customers go through. That means literally I got 7 prospect distributors in my customers alone. By Juice Plus statistics, I need to get myself, block off a day and literally just call, because I want to bring on new distributors. And how am I going to do that with a text? Not too well, or an email. They got to hear your voice. Know how to ask for a referral. Now, I've never asked for a referral, but I get a ton of referrals. And here's how a lot of those happen. One is because I'm connecting, and as I'm talking, and as I'm here asking questions and hearing them talk, and as they mention different people, I will say, oh my gosh, did you tell them about Juice Plus? Well, no, I didn't. Well, why don't you? Do you want me to call them and tell them? So I'm offering my services, or I'm asking them. And here's what I found. A lot of times, a lot of my distributors are not necessarily the person I went after to be my distributor, but one person removed. But what has happened is a person who maybe I wanted to be my distributor, maybe a good friend, and maybe they're like, yeah, that's your thing. It's not my thing. But what I want to do, maybe I can't turn my first connection into a distributor, but I can turn them into a crusader. And I'm telling you guys, those crusaders are powerful because they will refer people to you, whether it be customers or even distributors. So when you're talking to people, ask them about, oh my gosh, they're telling me about their mom, their dad, their brother, their sister, this or that. Have you told them about Juice Plus? Do they know about Juice Plus? Would you like me to connect with them? Could I send them some information? I've got 2 gals right now. One of them I've turned into a distributor, but she isn't she's not a working distributor per se, but she is referring people to me left and right. And so I set her up as a distributor, and I'm putting them under her. And I'm like, I'm going to take care of them. And when you're ready, she works a corporate job. She's pretty busy. But when you're ready, then you step in. And I'm telling you what, she is referring left and right. And I have another customer, corporate executive, referring. I probably, between the 2 of them, have gotten 10 referrals in the last 2 months. So if we're trying to do a 5-1-1 every month, 5 new customers, 1 new distributor, and bringing 1 distributor to the next level, our conference to conference push that we do, I'm telling you what, having 2 customers per se who are referring people is gravy. It's awesome. So that's what I want you guys I don't want to encourage you to ask for the referral, but ask to connect with people, or ask them to connect with people, or send people your way. Just say, oh my gosh, have them give me a call. And I did that today. I had a customer who has somebody who wants Juice Plus. And so I'm meeting with both of them tomorrow. I'm like, oh my gosh, could I meet with her? She wants Juice Plus, but she has 6 kids. I said, maybe she'd like to be a Juice Plus rep. How about if we meet for coffee? So I'm meeting both of them for coffee tomorrow. So it's not like, could you give me a referral? No, nobody wants to give you a referral. But would someone like to have coffee with you? Heck yeah, they would. So that's how you ask to be with them, to talk to them. And then lastly, learn how to upsell. I'm telling you what, probably every other time that I share either the Omegas or the Vineyard Blend, I will get someone who will add that on to their current orders. And so don't miss an opportunity by sending, like I may just out of the blue send someone an Omega video and say, oh my gosh, have I had, I don't know if I've had an opportunity to tell you about our Omega Blend. I am getting rave reviews from my customers, how much they love the Omega Blend. I wanted to make sure you knew about it. Didn't ask for the sale, but what I did was tell them about how exciting these new Omegas are. So engage in those conversations so you can invite them to join you in the business, get referrals, and upsell. You talk about exploding your business. If we really practice this with our customers alone, we're going to see a huge increase in our PVC. All right. Now, back to what you hear me say all the time, systems are a dime a dozen. This is old. It's antiquated, but it's the one I've used for 18 years now. And I'm gradually transitioning myself to going paperless, but this has helped me get to this point. And there's nothing special about this form. I want to stop and say Stacy Whitmere has an incredible customer care program. There's a really good one on the mission-driven model. This is one simple form that I've used for many years. But here's what you have to do. You have to have a system to track people, one, to capture your prospects. I know a lot of you guys are doing Teamsy, which I think is phenomenal. It doesn't matter what the system, you just better have one, and you better be using it. Even if you have a system, if you're not using it, throw it out and get another one. So this one, here's what I want to say is you just have to have some elements about your system, whatever it is. One is, make sure you're getting them plugged into, I use Constant Contact to email my customers. So somehow make sure they're getting on your email distribution. People are used to emails as a way of doing business. So don't forget about emails. Every time I send my customers like an email or a newsletter, I usually get 2 or 3 new customers or old customers back. Make sure you're getting them in your whatever your contact system is. Get them in the virtual office. Make sure your friends on Facebook. Invite them to your shred. Add them to your customer Facebook page. Those are things just set up to make sure they're plugged in. And then it's just a matter of, here's some ideas of how I do written communication. I've got some of my favorite videos that I send, so I check them off as I send them to make sure I'm not duplicating. And then here's some, I time activate when I want to follow up with them. And then just some ongoing customer care of, if I get them and they're referring people to me, man, I want to continue that. Praise what you want. So I'll send them, some Juice Plus Complete, or I may send them, if someone refers me a customer and they give me a quad, I'll send them maybe a bottle of Omegas and let them try the Omegas. Just somehow, some way, connect with these people and keep that process going. I'm telling you, they will become your best referral source when it comes to customers. All right, next thing is, if you're not printing out your customer alerts on a weekly basis, you're missing out. This is what triggers me to do my customer care, is looking at these customers and saying, oh my goodness, you know what? I haven't talked to Dawn in a while, and it's about time for her Juice Plus to go out. Oh my gosh, I'm just looking at somebody who suddenly became a customer who hadn't ordered in a long time. That's exciting. Okay, anyway, utilize this, if you don't know where it is, we will find it for you and show you. It's under your customer alerts. It tells you the next 10 days, the customers that are going to ship out. So anyway, utilize this, print this out, and this is what's going to help hold you accountable to doing your customer care. And then lastly, I just grabbed some pictures of different ways that you can connect with your customers. And the other day I posted this health information on, I mean, we've got so many tools, you guys. I mean, we are crazy not to use them. This is on teamjp.net. I think it's Mick Daly's team website. They have the most phenomenal health information. Look at this: ADD, ADHD, allergies, ALS, Alzheimer's, anemia. I mean, it just goes on. And literally last week, I literally went down through those, and as I saw the different recordings or articles, I just thought, oh my gosh, so-and-so has this, so-and-so has that. I bet I sent out at least 15 of these health-related information. And so far I got one customer already from that. Okay, and I see someone raising their hand, so I'm almost done, so then we'll go over and answer any questions. I didn't know you could even raise your hand like that. Okay, pretty much there are several distributors on our team that have customer pages. You guys, utilize these customer pages. I get a lot of upsells, whether it be the Omegas, Complete, Shred, from utilizing my customer page. Anybody can put customers on my page. I know Allison Hodges has a page, Nellie has a page. I'm sure Kim, I think, has a customer page, and Letty and Stacy, and who else? We've got so many customer pages that, you know what, there's no reason not to have every one of your customers on some sort of customer page. And then utilize those, all of our videos, especially the research videos, you guys. They are phenomenal. Not to mention that guy's voice just almost is mesmerizing. But I always try to follow up a text conversation with one of these research studies. And then I try to do once a month a newsletter. I'm happy to share. Actually, this beautiful newsletter came from Kim McCall. I hijacked it and used it myself and picked up a couple customers because of it. So thank you, Kim. And the last two things, you know, you're invited. I've heard a lot of people do a customer invitation and invite people to a luncheon or to a potluck. You guys, that's how you're going to turn customers into distributors, is getting them together, letting them feel the environment, the culture of Juice Plus. And then lastly, I think about Wendy Campbell she had a Delia Garcia CD many years ago, holding it with a bow and talking about giving that as a gift to people. You guys, we are giving the most precious gift to our customers when it comes to educating them and helping them see the value of this product. And so I just want to encourage you guys, lean in to this customer care. It doesn't have to be extravagant, and it doesn't have to take a ton of time. But I'm telling you, if you invest an hour to 2 hours a week, you will build an incredible customer base, and you will get referrals both for customers and distributors. And so I hope I hope something along the way has triggered in your mind. You guys, let's become professionals when it comes to being a 5-star customer care distributor. All right, I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to open up the lines and read who was raising their hand? That's cool, Marie. What were you saying? How do I even answer that? How do I answer a raised hand? Does anyone know? Okay, so I'm not the only one. All right. I haven't read through any of these messages. Do I need to talk about any of the messages to the right? No.
No, it was everyone chit-chatting back and forth, like what they're doing, what they do well, what their names of their team customer pages are, things like that.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Okay.
It's Marie. Can you tell us where those videos are that you had the list where it was ADHD, allergies, all of that? Could you show us where that is on the link or whatever for that?
It is the address is www.teamjp.net. And then under health information. All right, anybody, give me some more. So we've got the best practices. I almost said breast practices. Whoops. Best practices over here. I can't wait to go read them. All right, give me some feedback, guys. What's going on? Y'all feel like, how'd y'all do? You feel like you're doing good with the customer care? Give me some feedback. Let me hear from you. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording now so we can chit.